Page 429 in your textbooks. We do have our test coming up tomorrow over algebra and graphing. And so I want to go over some of the algebra stuff here real quick at the beginning of the hour, and then we'll make sure we go over the graphing. Remember all those different kinds of graphs and stuff a little bit later on this hour. But page 429, numbers 1 through 15 at the top of the page, you were supposed to simplify each polynomial and write the answer in conventional order. What did you get for number 1, Luciana? 2W. Number 2, Elaine.
15V.
15V. Number 3, Kirsten.
2M, positive 2M.
Careful, signs are the same, right? They're both negative, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we need to add and keep the sign here.
Negative 2M.
Add and keep the sign. Negative 4.
10.
Negative 10. Think of it this way. If you're already in debt $4, and then you somehow spend or borrow another $6, you're now $10 in the hole, right? So negative 4, negative 6. If you think of that as a minus 6m, well, then you have to add the inverse and still make it a negative 6m anyway. It's easier just to think negative 4m, negative 6m. Number 4, what did you get, Griffin?
5p.
Ooh, okay. 4 negative 7 gives you what?
Negative 3p.
Negative 3p. Now add a positive 2p to a negative 3p. Signs are different, so try to keep the sign of the greater.
5p. Oh wait, negative 1p.
Negative 1p. There we go. Got to keep track of the signs. Or the better way to think of this class, and this is something I pointed out when we were just combining signed numbers, is since these are both positive, add them first. Griffin, what is positive 4 and positive 2 going to give you?
Let's see.
And once you've got the positives together, then put it with the negative 7 to get your negative 1p. Does that make sense? So that might be an easier way to approach it. Number 5, they're not all like terms. We can only combine the n's together. The negative 11 has no friends. Bryson, what do we get for number 5? 12n, negative 11. Number 6, we can only combine the c's. The 22k has no friends. What's our answer on number 6? Corey.
7C, positive 22K.
Good, 7c, positive 22k. Number 7, the p to the firsts are friends, but not the p squared or the 6. So what's our answer on number 7, Ben?
8p squared plus 3p plus 6.
Careful, what is 6 minus 2? Your brain was thinking 6 divided by 2 is 3. 6 minus 2 would be 4p. There we go. So 8p squared plus 4p plus 6. Tell you what, Ben, for redemption, number 8, we had to combine the w's together to get
13w, w cubed, and negative 5.
All right, now, but in what order should we write the 13w, the w cubed, and the, was that a positive 5 or negative 5? You said negative 5. In what order should we write this, though, Ben?
W cubed.
Good. We want the w cubed at the beginning so we can have class descending order. Good, Jalen. The descending order. Looking at number 9, Joel, what you got?
12A, positive 3B, and positive 4C.
Now, in Joel's answer, we didn't go in descending order class. We went in alphabetical order. 12A, positive 3B, positive 4C. Number 10, Kirsten.
3y squared, negative 3y, positive 4.
Excellent job that time with those signed coefficients. Good. 3y squared, negative 3y, positive 4. And getting them into the descending order, also excellent. Number 11, Luciana.
8b to the 5th power plus 12b cubed, and negative 3d squared.
Great job keeping it in descending order. She saw that the 8d to the 5th had no friends, but it was the highest power, so she put it first. She had 2 different d cubes, the 7 and the 5 she can combine for a 12d cubed, and then the friendless negative 3d squared went at the end to keep the descending order. Great job. Number 12, Elaine.
Negative 3x, positive 4y, positive 11.
Good. In this case, only the constants could combine for an 11, but we always put the constant at the end. Lead with the x alphabetically, negative 3x, then the y, positive 4y, then the positive 11 constant at the end. Great job. Number 13, Corey.
positive 14p squared, positive 18p, positive 7p.
Well, you combined the p squareds together, right? The 5p squared, 9p squared gave you 14p squared, but then for some reason you left the 18p and the positive 7p, even though they are also like terms and could combine. So what should they have combined to give you?
25p.
There we go. So combine that to get a positive 25p. So 14p squared positive 25p should have been the answer there. How about number 14, Bryson?
7a squared, not cubed, I meant.
Good.
Plus 9.
Good. We get a 7a cubed positive 9. Question, Jalen? Oh, number 15, Jalen, what you got?
4b to the 4th plus 27b squared plus 12b.
Did you say 45b to the 4th?
4b.
Should have been a 45b to the 4th. It had no friends. It was right there at the beginning, so maybe just misread it. But should have been the 45b to the 4th. Good job combining the b squares to get a 27b squared, and then the 12b at the end, so we have that descending order of b. Was anyone perfect? 1 through 15. You got them all. Okay, a couple of you. Anyone just missed 1 or 2? Anyone just missed 1 or 2? Any questions on the ones we missed? Luciana?
Okay, so I'm confused with like all of the orders, like ascending order and everything.
Okay, so give me an example of a problem where you had a different order to your answer.
Like maybe like 10.
Okay, yeah, so for number 10, I'm going to show it on the board. We had this here. And we know that these two terms combine to give us a negative 3y, right? Because the signs are different, so try to keep the sign of the greater absolute value. So I have 1, 2, 3 different terms that are not like to each other. So all 3 of these terms have to be left in my answer. Well, since it's a matching letter, right, there's y's, they're all matching letters, we always start with the highest power of y. Do you see how this y is being squared? This y is technically to the first power, and this ain't got no y's at all. Well, 2y's is more than 1y, which is more than no y's at all. So we're going to start with the highest power of y, the 3y squared. Then the next power of y is the negative 3y to the first. We don't necessarily have to write the 1. And then the constant, which has no powers of y at all, goes at the end. That's the descending order. So when there's the same letter, just with different exponents, like there were, for instance, on number 13, it's all p's, it's just some are squared and some are first. On number 15, there's all b's, just some are fourths, some are squares, some are firsts. On number 11, there's all d's, just one is fifth, a couple are cubed, one is squared. You put the highest power first. So that's why number 11, for instance, Luciana, the 8d to the 5th has to go first. Then we've got a 5d cubed and a 7d cubed. There's 2 different d cubes. We add those to get a 12d cubed. And then the negative 3d squared is my lowest power of d. 5d's, 3d's, 2d's. Does that make sense? Okay. Good. Any other questions on the 1 through 15? Any other questions? Again, we got a test tomorrow, so if there's something you're not quite clear on, now's the time to get those questions answered. Questions? Yes, sir.
Is the test over algebra like this? Or
Yeah. Algebra stuff, yeah. Like the stuff we've been doing a lot of lately, right? Which is combining like terms. We've done a little of the evaluation, right? So if I had, for instance, something like an AB minus B squared, I knew that A was negative 5 and B was 3. Well, in for the A class, we would plug in
negative 5.
negative 5, and for the B, we'd plug in
3.
and then in for this B, we'd plug in
3 has
3. And it would be a 3 squared. Well, 3 squared class is 9. So we have a minus 9, and then here, negative 5 times 3 class, negative 15. So negative 15, negative 9 class,
6.
they're both negative signs are the same. Negative 24, because if I take $15 and then I take 9 more, I've taken $24, right? Think of somebody taking your money with a negative. Think of somebody giving you money when you have a positive. So, I mean, there will be a little bit of that, because we've done a little bit of that lately. Some of the algebraic representations, like 7 more than n class.
Oh.
7 more than n.
7 minus 7.
7 more than n?
And
n plus 7, right? Or twice x. The cube of z.
Z cubed.
Z cubed. The 4th root of x. Well, the 4th root of x. Yeah, we looked at that yesterday. And this kind of leads into our next homework that we're going to get to as we turn over to page, where do you go, 436. what do we call this little symbol here that indicates a root? It kind of looks like a division sign, but it's got a little hook on the front, and it tells me there's a root that's being taken. What do we call that thing, Kirsten?
Square root.
Well, it's not necessarily called the square root. It might sometimes be a square root, like if there wasn't a 4 here, it would mean a square root, but it has a name.
Radical.
Radical sign. Class, say that with me. Radical sign. So what's this little thing called, class? Radical sign. Now, this isn't a square root. It's a 4th root. That little 4 right there, class, is called the index. The index. And that tells me which root. And then this x, the thing we're taking the root of, it's referred to, class, as the radicand. And I believe the beginning of the homework, as you turn to page 436, if you haven't already done so, was just getting you to identify what is the index, what is the radicand. I want to start, though, by looking at 1 through 9, and these were pretty straightforward. Number 1, the square root of what is 12, class? 144. Number 2, the square root of what is 7? 49. Number 3, the square root of what is 1? 1. Number 4, the square root of 100 is what? 10. Number 5, the square root of 64 is what? 8. Number 6, the square root of 4 is what, class? 2. Number 7, the square root of what is d squared? Is d. D squared. Number 8, the square root of what is g?
G squared.
And then this one was the thinking one. What would you have to take the square root of to get x cubed, Joel?
X to the 6th.
X to the 6th. Wow, way to go on that one. You won't have one quite like that on the test tomorrow. Number 10, what is the index? Griffin?
4,
And what's the radicand?
1,
Number 11, what's the index? Ben?
which number?
Number 11, pay attention, boy. What's the index?
19,
That's the radicand. What's the index?
5,
5. What's that little symbol called?
radical.
Radical sign. There we go. And the 5 is called the?
Radical
Look at number 11. The little 5 is called the?
index,
And the 19 is called the?
radicand.
Radicand. There we go. Number 12, the square root of 100. Of course, we know that answer is 10. What is the index on this one, Bryson?
2.
It's a 2. If you don't see an index, class, it is an understood 2. And of course, the 100 is called the radicand. Number 13, just quick signed number review. 18, negative 23, Luciana.
Negative 6.
Oh, Elaine.
Negative 5.
Negative 5. By the way, 18x, negative 23x would be negative 5x, right? Because when you add like terms together, you're really just adding the coefficients. Number 14, negative 4, negative 6 would give us what, Jalen? Negative 10. Just like negative 4j, negative 6j would give me negative 10j. If we have a 5 minus negative 3, do we ever really subtract, class?
No.
We got to add that inverse, Kirsten.
Positive 8.
Positive 8. Number 16, we're multiplying. Negative 4 times negative 5, Corey.
20.
Positive 20, because if you have an even number of negatives, 2 in this case, it gives you positive. Number 17, 80 divided by negative 10, Bryson. Negative 8, the signs are different, so when you divide, you get a negative. And number 18, negative 16 divided by negative 4, Griffin.
Positive 4.
Positive 4, because a negative divided by a negative gives a positive. Questions on those? Flip over to page 414. Flip all the way back now to page 414. And do numbers 1 through 15 at the top of the page. Page 414. Do numbers 1 through 15 at the top of the page. Once you finish, put your pencil down and stand next to your desk. Good, Corey. Good, Jalen. Good, Joel. Luciana. He got out of his seat faster. Griffin, then Bryson right behind him. Elaine, good. Just a little longer to be finishing, about 30 seconds more. Here. You consider those still working? All right, have a seat. And let's see how we did. Corey was first, so Corey's going to see how far he can get through this. Number 1, you got?
3D.
3D. Number 2?
Negative 14y.
Negative 14y. Number 3?
Negative 3m.
Excellent. Negative 3m. Next row, number 4.
4x.
4x is correct. Number 5?
Negative 4a.
Negative 4a is perfect. Number 6?
23w
Positive.
squared.
Sorry, positive 23w squared is correct. Number 7?
1d.
Positive 1d, or you could just say d. Great job. Those all had all like terms. Everything combined to a single monomial. Now with number 8, they're not all going to combine, and we're going to have to make sure we write the answer in conventional order. Number 8, Corey?
5b negative 7.
Great job. Put the constant at the end, 5b negative 7. Number 9?
3a squared positive 10a.
Good. He put the a squared at the beginning and then the a to the first behind it. 3a squared when he combined positive 10a. Great job. Number 10?
Negative 6m, negative 6m to the 6, negative 3m to the 4.
Great job. Put the negative 6m to the 6th at the beginning, then combine your m to the 4th, which is a lower power, to get negative 3m to the 4th behind it. Number 11.
16x squared positive 3x positive 3.
Excellent job. Keep that 16x squared first, combine the x to the first to get a 3x, then the positive 3. Great job. Number 12.
7b negative 5k negative 1.
Perfect. Combine the b's, put those at the beginning, because alphabetically that comes before k. Negative 5k had no friends. The constant always at the end. There's your negative 1. Number 13.
2n to the 5th and negative 3.
Good. Combine the end of the fifths to get 2n to the 5th. Combine the constant to get negative 3. Perfect job. Number 14.
Negative 5x positive 4y.
That is correct. Negative 5x, positive 4y. And number 15, last one.
Negative 6p to the, negative 6p cubed positive 5p negative 2.
Outstanding job. Negative 6p cubed, positive 5p negative 2 is exactly right. How many others got them all right? You just weren't as fast as Corey. Anyone just missed one or two of these? Any questions on this? Yes, ma'am.
Maybe number 14.
Yeah, number 14, we've got a 3x, a 4y, a negative 6x, a negative 2x. Here's what I'm going to give you as a suggestion. I would go through and I'd mark all the ones that are like maybe circle them all, and then if there's others, maybe underline them. Like there could be another y term, I'd underline it. That'll help you to keep them straight. What I would still do, even within the circles, these two have matching negatives. Combine them first, Luciana. Negative 8x. Then put that negative 8x with the positive 3x to get
5x.
keep the sign of the greater,
Negative.
negative 5x, right? And then the positive 4y, because y comes after x alphabetically, instead of putting the 4y at the beginning, I'm going to put the 4y at the end. Does that make sense? All right, good. Any other questions? Any other questions? Clear your desks, except for a clean sheet of paper and a pencil. Clean sheet of paper and a pencil. Everything else away. Well, let's take a quiz, make sure we're good to go on this content before our test tomorrow. After the quiz, we'll review over graphing. So have a clean sheet of paper out and a pencil, everything else away. Quickly having everything away except for a clean sheet of paper and a pencil. And for those watching on YouTube, this is quiz 37. All right, first and last name of the name spot. And today's date in the date spot. First and last name in the name spot. Today's date in the date spot. Today is 4/30/24. 4/30/24 today's date. Let's take a look at quiz 37 together. Numbers 1 through 6, multiple choice. Choose the correct answer, write the letter in the blank. And then numbers 7 through 12. Combine like terms, write your answers in conventional order. Be sure to use that blank page as a cover sheet. We'll pick up in part 2 in just a moment.